Kara, I am so glad to have you finally on the podcast. It was so funny when we met in person this year. I was like, hold up, how have we not? Like, I feel like
How
I've
have
been
we not?
following you since the early days of my business. Like, gosh, 2018, 2019, maybe. Like, you have just been on my radar for so long. Um, but
I
I
think
am
I
so
said that
excited.
when we met. Like, I'm like, do you know we're the same person? I feel like we should have a conversation about we have very similar journeys.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know why this took so long, but I'm so thrilled to have you today. Tell everyone what it is that you do and who you serve.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. So I'm Kara and I do done for you blogging and Pinterest management for other creative business owners, solopreneurs, online businesses, that kind of thing, all taken off your plate. So I'm really excited to talk about it today.
And you had posted. I don't know if it was meant to be spicy or not, but you had posted something on Threads about Yoast giving you the green light not being good enough for SEO, and that can't be the end all be all. And I was like, oh, this is it. This is the topic. This is why we haven't done this yet because we were waiting for this moment. But um, yeah, tell us, I guess, let's not assume everyone knows what Yoast is. So tell us what Yoast is as far as that plugin and how people tend to use it and why that's not enough.
Yeah, for sure. So for anyone that doesn't know, Yoast SEO is a plugin that can go in the back end of your WordPress, or if you're using Showit, you're still on WordPress for the blog. And it's a plugin that basically gives you a green light. Another similar one is Rank Math SEO, and it will give you green like over 80% or something. I know Squarespace has one. I'm blanking on the name, but it's like a newer one. I want to say it's SEO Space. And basically, what these tools are is they're just designed to be a checklist if you're quote unquote doing SEO correctly. But one of the things, and like my clients too, it's a little misleading about whether or not you're actually doing SEO well, because like any automatic thing, it can be tricked or manipulated or like things like that. So like when people come to me and they want blogging, they're like, my, virtual assistant or whatever gets green most of the time. So I think she's doing okay, which virtual assistants can definitely write your blogs for you. It's not about that. It's just like that isn't a measure of whether or not the blog post is going to perform. And I almost liken it to Yoast SEO has these kind of like things that you need to have in their point system to get green, right? So you have to have the keyword in the first paragraph. You have to have, it mentioned so many times. You have to have images in your blog post, like on and on. But if you think of it kind of like Instagram, which I feel like it's a platform that more people are familiar with the rules. I'm just going to make up rules because I'm not an Instagram expert, but it's kind of like if you post something on Instagram and like it's a professional branded photo, it starts with a hook, it's valuable in the caption, it has hashtags or whatever we're doing nowadays. You used a trending audio, you hit all those boxes, but your post didn't go viral because it's not actually like effective. It didn't speak to the right people. In Yo's case, the keyword wasn't the right keyword for what you want to rank for. So I'll see this with like a wedding photographer and they used wedding photographer, right? And it's like way too broad for their topic, or it'll be like something so specific that nobody is searching for and they've kind of like stuffed it in to get the greens. So it it's a nice tool as like a double check, but it just can't, it can be really misleading because you're like, well, I got green. I obviously did this well.
And you can have all green for your all of your blog posts and still not be ranking for
And
anything.
still not be ranking. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. It kind of takes it like a yes or no. The quality doesn't matter, right? It's like, do you have an image? Like, check. Like, okay.
Well, and to your point about the keywords, you can't just pull a keyword out of thin air. How do we begin? So someone's listening, they're like, oh, dang it, I have just been making sure it's green. I thought that was enough. Like, where do we actually need to begin?
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like two routes. If someone has been consistently blogging and they're like, well, it's all green, I would start in Google Search Console and see which of your blog posts are actually ranking. And it's super easy to do that. Just literally sign on to Google Search Console. There's a little tab that says pages. you'll see your top visited pages. Those are the ones that are ranking. And if you're like, oh, I'm seeing like none of my blogs are on there, then it's like, okay, start from scratch. Not really, but like we'll go in and update those. But if you see that some of them are ranking, then you don't need to worry about updating those, even though they might not be quote unquote done correctly. But instead, I would look at ones that you're like, oh, I noticed my wedding at XYZ venue that I really would love to rank is not on here. Then you can go back to it. Or second, if you're starting from scratch and you're like, wow, I really thought that I could just like use Yoast SEO or whatever, I would go back to keywords. So there are a few different tools online. I feel like for most people, Uber Suggest is kind of like the most commonly recommended beginner tool. It's okay. It's not my favorite because I feel like you don't get the same amount of data as other tools. I would recommend something like Key Search is the one that I'm using most often lately because it will give you a ton of different keywords, or you could go with like a professional tool like SEMrush or something, but I find those tools to be a bit too expensive for like the average small business owner. So using either like a beginner tool or a medium tool, and the difference is if you look at Uber Suggest and you're looking for a keyword, you can hit zero a lot of times and be like, well, what are my people searching for? And I just find other tools, they'll give you more options. So that's kind of like if you're trying to imagine, like, is something else worth it? It can be a lot faster to use a tool that's going to give you more options. But basically, you want to start by looking for keywords, making sure that there is volume for it. It doesn't have to be like a super high volume, especially for location based businesses. You're not typically going to find like 1,000, 10,000 monthly search volume, but find them that do have some volume and then look at the competitiveness and make sure it's not like a super competitive word. So, like marketing or something like that. It's like you'll see the volume, but I think most of them rank like 0 to 100. So, like, I'd be wary of anything over like 50 for difficulty as a general rule of thumb. But then look at those other little keywords. And another good rule of thumb is like one blog post, one keyword, and you're not supposed to really like repeat all the different keywords, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because then they compete against each other, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so side note, do you have you ever used SpyFu?
No.
No.
Was that another one?
That is one that I'm using that I'm really enjoying, but I was just curious what your thoughts were. But we will link to all of those different ones in the show notes if anyone wants to check them out and just explore.
Lots have free trials too. Like find the one
Yes.
that organizes it the way that your brain works.
Yeah, I mean they're all, mostly doing the same thing. So you find one that works for you and you go with it. Um, okay, so let's say we've got someone who they've been getting greens, they check out their Google search console, they've got nothing. They're like, nothing is ranking. I have hundreds of blog posts and nothing's ranking. What is your suggestion then? Is that to go to the keyword research and just figure out what it is that people are searching for? Or is there something else that you would suggest first?
If someone has like I want to say like more than 10 blog posts and none of them are ranking at all, the first thing I would do is make sure that they're being indexed. So like again in Google Search Console, you can copy and paste the URL from the blog post, type it in Google Search Console, enter it, and then it will say a few things. It will say not discovered, not indexed. That is like the easiest fix because you just request indexing and then it tells Google your blog exists. If it says discovered and not indexed, I think that's the word I use, discovered, not indexed, that means it found your blog and it's not indexing it at this time. I like to give that a one, like I'll request indexing one more time just to like see. Sometimes, Google will just like skip over something. If then it discovers it again, so it will tell you the last time it crawled the website. So if you're like, okay, I requested it on October 13th, you go back and look at the same URL on the 19th, and you're like, well, it scanned it on the 15th and it's still saying discovered and not indexed. That means that Google basically is not seeing that blog post as something that is going to rank. And oftentimes that can be like, if honestly, I like hate to say this because it's such a broad thing, but it's like it's not valuable compared to the other things that are ranking for that keyword. Yours is not competitive. So whether it's like a blog post that is like 100 words and like images underneath it, right? We've all seen that. Or it's completely AI written and there's no perspective. It could be that, but that's kind of like the first thing that I would do.
Okay, so we're checking to see if it's indexing it.
Yeah.
And then if it is, then
Mhm.
what? Is it
If it's
just that we don't
indexing and
have
you're not
valuable
ranking,
keywords? Yeah.
then I think you have to get more specific with your keywords. Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
And you mentioned that that problem that comes up a lot where it's like, well, but what are my people searching? Do you have suggestions for how to figure out? Because a lot of times we can get so caught up in our own stuff that we're like, well, this is what this should be. But in reality, that's not the way other people are talking about it or seeing it. So, what can we do to make sure that we're finding keywords that people are actually searching for versus just keywords that we're kind of pulling out of the blog post?
Yeah, for sure. And I think you brought up such a good point. It is so hard to do it for ourselves, right? Even like I do it for so many people and still when I'm looking for keywords for myself, it's like, why aren't people searching this? They should be. So I would say like if you have a business friend, like ask them what they're kind of thinking, but then also look at what your competitors are ranking for. Like not like to rip off their blog posts, but like you can do this like through a keyword tool, like a competitor audit or something like that, and see what keywords, but you can also just do it manually. Like, who are your competitors that are showing up on Google and what are they blogging about to kind of get the wheels turning? I would also say we often don't go like deep enough on a topic. So, like, even though we talked about like not cannibalizing our keywords, which is like blogging about the same keyword, I think like you can create keyword clusters, right? So like if you're, I don't know why I keep using wedding examples, but if you're a wedding photographer that shot at this venue, it can be like a garden wedding at this venue, a maximalist wedding at this venue. Like you can build around an overall keyword and get like more specific.
Yes, doing those long tail keyword phrases instead of just the venue, you can add descriptors to it, right?
Yeah, and linking back, like I always think of like some blogs as I'm writing them, I know that like future blogs are all going to link back to this one, right? So I think internal linking, like you kind of, it's all important.
Well, yeah, and that helps with the SEO, both internal linking and then also external linking, instead of linking to the venue or whatever. Those are all parts of SEO that help build that SEO and show Google that you're a trustworthy, reputable site, right?
Yeah, yeah, totally.
You had said something that I wanted to go down. Now I've lost it. Oh, I remember the competitor research.
Oh, yeah.
That's something I love about SpyFu is that it'll show you who Google thinks your competitors are right now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that's always a really good indicator for me of whether or not someone has been putting out content that is actually geared toward the audience they want to be geared towards. And then you also can go, okay, but I want this person to be my competitor. In my mind, this is who my competitor is. So let me see what they're ranking for. But that is one of my favorite parts is it's like, these are the people that you actually overlap with most. And sometimes that is not at all what you think it's going to be. You're ranking for things that you didn't really anticipate ranking for.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And sometimes it's like very random, like when I'm doing competitor research and you're like, wow, one of your competitors is like ranking for a topic that I would never consider writing about, but maybe there is an angle we can take. And while we're talking about keywords, I would just add like think about your funnel before someone works with you and make sure the topics are like actually relevant to like what they would be searching for before they hire you.
yeah. So when it comes to just creating this content for our websites, what do you suggest as the first step when it comes to creating content?
Yeah, I feel like you're the expert at this actually, but like batch the similar tasks. So I will always come up with blog topics once a quarter so that you're not like getting stuck in the weeds. Like we've all done this where we like pull up our blank screen and we're like, what am I going to write about? And then by the time you're done keyword research, you're like, that's all the time I have for blogging. So I like to like at least decide the topics, even if I don't actually write them all in a batch. So Then you could kind of like, once you have your 12 like keywords, let's call it, if you're blogging once a week, then you could kind of like play like, okay, what makes sense to blog about before January? Or like, what is going to seem timely in December that I want to like start ranking for in October or whatever it is. And then I like to like bullet point outlines. And I feel like you can use ChatGPT for this, like just to get like the rough outlines there. And then when you sign on like once a week or whatever, I find writing more than one blog post, it's not all small business owners have time for it, or like the stamina the stamina to be like writing for an extended period of time. But if you have it like the outlines already ready, it feels really manageable to just sign on and do.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just giving yourself, like I'm always telling students, it's like give yourself permission to not use the backspace. Like let that first little bit be absolute garbage.
Yeah. I
Like
will literally talk out a blog post. If I'm like feeling like I'm getting like stuck, I'm like, okay, and I'll just like talk, and then I'll do the transcript and be like, what were the key things?
I'm like always so nervous. I'm like, don't look at the rough draft clients. Like this is not, it's gonna be
They're
so good when I
drafting
give it to
words
you.
and they're like, I saw you posted something. It's or not posted, but like had something in the back end. I'm like, that's not ready yet.
It's very much not for your eyes yet. It is
Yeah.
hot garbage. I've got like, notes to myself in there and just
Yeah.
like ellipses and like something about something here. I don't really know how I'm gonna fit it in, but I want to talk about this,
Yeah.
it's
Better
hot garbage.
transitions.
Yeah. Yeah. This is not good. Make this better later.
Yeah.
Do that all the time.
Yeah.
Do you tend to start with topics or keywords?
Keywords for me. Yeah.
Always start with the keyword research and then pick topics from there.
Yeah. Sometimes like if I'm feeling like stuck, then I will look for topics and like I feel like okay, one thing I feel like you absolutely cannot use AI for is keyword research because it doesn't have access to the tools, right? But I think it can brainstorm keywords that you can look into if you're
Yes.
feeling stuck, right?
But it cannot be that end all
It
be all.
cannot be like the final step. Otherwise, you're going to be like listening to this live stream 6 months from now and be like, why are nothing ranking?
Right. 100%. You're gonna be like, wait,
Yeah.
but I thought no one's searching for this. Well, yeah, because ChatGPT does not have, I don't know, SpyFu's like they started connecting with it. I haven't played around with it much because I don't trust it, but I
I
guess I
played with a
probably
few
should.
AI trackers and I haven't found anything to be consistent yet.
Um,
I think they'll get there. It's just I haven't found anything to be consistent yet.
isn't that funny? It's like with AI, you're just consistently, well, it's not doing it yet, but it will be at some point. I don't
But
know
it
when.
will be. Yeah. I'm
They
sure it's
just
on their
keep
radar, right?
improving.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so we talked about some of your favorite tools and some that you've heard of and suggest. What, I mean, what are your overall thoughts on keyword tools? Is it possible to do, like, do you have, let me take all that back. Do you have to use a tool in order to really get strong SEO?
I would say personally, I think you can probably write 10 topics based on knowing your audience. But when you get past that, you start like what I see people do is kind of grasping, right? Like they're like, I know the top 10 things my people are looking for. But past that, and like when I think about blogging for SEO as a strategy, it's like this isn't something that you just do for like a couple months and then you're like perfect, right? It's like I'm talking about like topic 50, topic 75. It's like I don't think you can get there without some sort of keyword research tool. And you're also at that point investing a considerable amount of time. So it's like you want that keyword research tool. Oh, I can't hear you. Is it just me?
I think my microphone died.
Oh,
Sorry. I had a client yesterday who she had said this would be a really fun topic. And I'm like, I'm sure your people actually would really love that topic. There's nothing that I can find keyword wise for this. Like, it's just not,
yeah.
just because they would enjoy it and it probably is something they're interested in. I have no idea how they're searching for this right now. And I don't know if they are searching for it. It would be like a stumble upon, like, great, but
Yeah.
none
And
of
that's tell clients, like, I'm sure you feel the same, where it's like, not every blog has to be SEO. Like sometimes it's like, I want a blog post that I can like send clients that inquire to, that like maybe answer their frequently asked questions. Or like if you're a website designer, you want like a website launch blog and it's like, read this. Like I think that can be a great tool, but it is nice to know when you're like, there's nothing. There's
Like,
nothing.
just so you know, it's not going to rank. And what is your priority here? Yeah.
Yeah. And if it does rank, it won't get any traffic because there is none.
No traffic yet. Maybe there
Yeah.
will be one day,
Yeah. But
but
if
probably
it
not the
does,
best strategy.
yeah, totally.
Um, okay, so do you have suggestions as far as are there any free tools, I guess, that you have found worthwhile for someone to use as they're working on their SEO?
Yeah, I think Ubersuggest has a free tool. And then I would also say one thing that you can do is go to Google Search Console and see like what keywords you're not ranking for yet. But like oftentimes there will be like keywords it's kind of pulled from your homepage or whatever. So you can like double down on those. Or there's trends tools like Google Trends you can search on. Pinterest trends, even though it's a different search engine, ultimately people are searching the same way. So something like that I think can be a good idea.
I love that. Also, let's be real. If you don't want to deal with doing it, you could hire someone like Kara or
That's right.
you know. Um, okay. And then speaking about AI, there's a lot of debate that I'm seeing on threads about Google SEO and AI SEO. Are they the same? Are they different? What's your take on that?
I think they're not so different that the average small business owner needs to worry about it. I think if you are like a lifestyle blogger, that is something you're going to need to pay more attention to, because what I've seen with clients is over the last 2 years, many have seen a decrease in impressions. It's just like the reality of it because a lot of people aren't like clicking through or whatever. That doesn't necessarily mean like your conversion has to decrease though, because people that are looking for a website designer or a wedding photographer, they're not stopping on the first page of Google. So it's like, yeah, less people are like going to your website, but the same amount of people that need your service, which is like an actual service that they can't just like have an endpoint with an AI summary, are still there.
Mhm.
So now, if you're a lifestyle blogger, the reason I bring that up is like if you are making money on Google ad spend and your traffic decreases, that's obviously a bit of a bigger issue that I don't know the answer for that yet. But for small business owners, I feel like there are little things that we're seeing AI care about. So, like, one, I mentioned submitting blog posts to Google Search Console. We should also be submitting them to Bing Webmaster Tools. It's a very similar process, but it's just because ChatGPT pulls from Bing's kind of Rolodex or whatever most often. So that's cool. Chances are, like, if you hear that and you're like, oh my God, I haven't been doing that, Google, like, Bing knows you exist most of the time. If you've been blogging regularly, similarly to Google, it will just find you organically. But that's an extra step you can take. I think we've been experimenting with like adding people's like bio at the end so that ChatGPT can like see the source on the individual blog post. One thing that I think is important for conversion, but it's also important for AI tools, is like introducing yourself at the top of the blog. So, like, if someone lands on your blog, they're not waiting until the end to get a CTA. It's like, by the way, if you want me to just do this for you, like, head here, but like, you can read the blog, but like, I'm this person that helps this. So, I think that that is important. I think good formatting is more important than ever. So, like, if it's a list, let it be a list, right? Things like that. I'm trying to think of what else I would say for AI tools. Those are, I feel like, the big ones.
Amazing.
And just making sure you're not blogging about, honestly, like basic stuff. Like if I wanted to, like, I don't know, do a blog that's like, what is SEO? And the people that are searching what is it SEO, they just want like a one sentence
Hmm.
answer. I'm not going to write a whole blog about it because I think those type of searches end at Google now. They don't click
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, you get that AI summary at the top and
That's all you need for some keywords, right?
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any final SEO tips that maybe we haven't covered that you think are really important for listeners to know?
Hmm. I'm trying to think. I would say like one, we talked about this kind of at the beginning, but like even if things are going well, going back and updating past blog posts to like make sure they have a most current call to action and that they're being updated is something that can go a long way. Um, Formatting we kind of talked about, but one thing that I see people skipping a lot is images, which are like the easiest SEO thing. Like rename your image with like keyword dash keyword, whatever the image is. Add your alt text, which is just a description of the image. I've literally been throwing images into ChatGPT. Like, can you write alt text for this? And it does a pretty good job as like a faster thing. If you're like, I cannot write alt text anymore, especially photographers that have hundreds of images, and then resize them so it doesn't slow down your site. A lot of these things are like SEO things, but I think you would agree with me, Amanda, that they're just like good practice for the end user too. And images is like, I think it's because it's like maybe the last thing people do and they just want to get it up, which I relate to so deeply, but it is one of those things that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. That's super, yeah, great tips. Also, I never even thought about putting an image into ChatGPT for all times. I'm going to be doing that from now on for sure.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because it takes forever. Like Amanda and I know, like when we're saying like we need to do this, it's not because we're like love adding alt text,
No, no, it's not.
right?
I have the hardest time with alt text for some reason. I don't know why.
Endless.
That for sure. Okay, if you could give everyone just one action step to take today, what would it be?
I would say I would love for you to like leave this conversation, put together your quarter plan, and just stick to it. And like it's mid-October, do it till mid-December. That's like 8 topics. I think you could probably come up with those in like half an hour and then just commit to like an hour or two a week, just getting them up.
I love it. And then what is one book that you would recommend everyone?
Oh my gosh. I know you're such a reader now. I'm like, the pressure is
No.
on. You know what? I just read 107 Days and I really liked it.
Okay. Who is that by?
It's a Kamala Harris book.
Oh,
It's
ooh,
just really
okay.
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
All right. We will link to that in the show notes, everyone. Now, I know that we've kind of touched on this. Let me back up. We've touched on this a few times just about the mental capacity, the time, how extensively our marketing can take up our time if we allow it. But I know that you have a private podcast that can help with this. Tell us a little bit about that and where they can find it.
Oh, yeah. So my private podcast is just like 7 episodes where I basically teach you how to set up a process in your business to build it once and get found for months. So exactly what we're talking about, like things that people are searching for, how to set up marketing that will have you always constantly being found so they don't have to constantly be putting stuff out.
I love it. And we will link to that. They can also go to thecarereport.com/ is it
Private
podcast?
podcast or
Private
private dash
podcast.
podcast, I think. Yeah.
Yes, private dash podcast. Where else can they find you and learn from you?
I am online pretty much everywhere at the Care Report. So carereport.com is my website where you can see my own blog. I blog 3 times a week, so crazy. And on Instagram at the
Wait,
Care
wait,
Report.
wait, wait, wait. How do you have time for that on top of client work?
Well, okay, I do repurpose stuff. So like my podcast gets full blog posts. I do a YouTube video a week that gets a full blog post, and then I get like a regular blog post.
I'm amazed. I like my whole website is like my husband who edits my podcast, like you say this all the time, and I'm like, but it's true. So sorry, Russell, but like, the cobbler's children have no shoes. That's my whole website. Like my marketing.
That's most marketers, I feel like. Yeah. And I feel like I've had seasons of that. Like I haven't been like blogging 3 times a week like for existence.
I'm so impressed. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So impressed. Okay, well, definitely go check out Kara's website so you can see all of her blogs. That's incredible. I'm gonna go do some stalking now and just see how you manage this. Thank you so much for being here today and for just sharing your expertise. I am